From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Micah Halpern, sitting in for Teisha Bader, here with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August 7th, 2018. President Donald J. Trump snapped sanctions back on Iran yesterday. As a lead up to this, President Trump announced that he is inviting Iran to dialogue with no preconditions. In response, however, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani said that he has no interest in any dialogue with the United States. Rouhani asserted that the United States is simply not trustworthy. He said the United States would first need to prove their honesty, and that would nearly be impossible. He said that the United States pulled out of a deal, and that proves that they do not keep their word. Here's his quote. "We are always in favor of diplomacy and talks, but talks need honesty. The United States reimposes sanctions on Iran and pulls out of the nuclear deal and then wants to hold talks with us?" That's what Rouhani said on state television yesterday. And then he added, Trump's call for direct talks is only for domestic consumption in America and to create chaos in Iran. Also in Iran, Iran is suing the United States in the World Court for damages done since 1953 coup that was sponsored and coordinated by the CIA. That was a coup that ousted Iran's democratically elected president and replaced him with the Shah. The captain of a Norwegian ship that attempted to break Israel's blockade of Gaza criticized Israel for stopping his ship, which was carrying humanitarian supplies. After the captain, Herman Rexton, returned to Norway, he lashed out at Israel, saying that his ship was in international waters and closer to Egypt than to Israel. He said, and I'm quoting here, "We were arrested in international waters and we were closer to Egypt than Israel." According to maritime law, international waters are clearly measured and laid down. 12 nautical miles, which is 22.2 kilometers, 13.8 miles from the baseline, usually the mean low water mark of the coastal state. Sometimes one country's territorial waters overlaps with its neighbors. Israel boarded and towed the Norwegian ship into Israel and interrogated everyone on board. Syrian scientist Dr. Azizi Asber was blown up in his car together with his driver on Saturday night. Dr. Asber was in charge of Department 4, the department responsible for two very important pro-Syrian projects. Dr. Azizi Asber was developing new chemical and biological weapons and their delivery systems. He also worked very closely with Iran's rocket scientists and was helping to develop Iranian weapons and rockets. Anti-Assad forces have claimed responsibility. Other sources saying that it was the Mossad. Within Syria, a group called Tahrir al-Sham sent a message taking credit for perpetrating the attack. You may already be familiar with the group. They used to be called Al-Nusra Front. They served as the representative of al-Qaeda in Syria. An important subgroup of Tahrir al-Sham called Abu Amara Brigades posted the message on their Telegram channel saying that they planted the explosives that assassinated the scientists. The Assad regime has yet to comment on the successful assassination of one of their most senior scientists. Whether or not they were responsible for this is a huge success for all groups that we haven't heard from in a while. The groups that we were led to believe were no longer in existence. They are back now on our radar. Israel is under cyber attack. There has been an uptick in cyber attacks against Israel, attacks that are different from previous attacks against Israel. Serious attacks are emanating from Iran. Even more serious attacks are coming from China and from Russia. They are hacking attacks. The attackers are not simply interested in trying to crash sites and breach security. That is what the huge amateur hacking community normally sets their goals on. This is much, much more sophisticated. These hackers from Iran, China, and Russia are trying to secretly access and monitor the acts and behavior of the Israeli military. They want Israeli military secrets and decision-making protocols. The hackers, especially those from China and Russia, are particularly sophisticated and very talented. French-Italian joint aircraft company ATR on Monday confirmed that it had delivered 5 more turboprop aircraft to Iran Air shortly before Washington imposed the new sanctions on Iran. ATR said it faced difficulties obtaining U.S. permission to hand over more planes on order. Washington poised to hit Tehran with the economic sanctions after President Donald Trump in May exited a nuclear pact between Tehran and the major world powers. The U.S. President's decision required most companies to complete ongoing business with Iran before U.S. sanctions were reimposed after a wind-down period which expired yesterday on August 6th. ATR has now delivered 13 of the aircraft sought by Iran Air. Another 7 remain on order. ATR said in a statement, "The next step will consist in working on getting an appropriate authorization from the United States administration to ensure a reasonable level of maintenance." And now, looking at tonight's programming on JBS. At 7 o'clock, Christian South African attorney and founder of pro-Israel advocacy group Olga Mesho speaks at Columbia on why it is ludicrous to refer to Israel as an apartheid state. At 8, more from the AJC Global Forum in Jerusalem, with debate between Oded Ravivi, who's the mayor of Efrat, and Knesset member Stav Shafrir regarding the two-state solution, followed by a message from AJC CEO David Harris. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Daniel Gordis on the Chaim. And at 10, author Tova Mervis discusses her memoir, The Book of Separation, about their divorce and their decision to leave the Orthodox community, with Tablet Magazine's Marjorie Engel from the Center for Jewish History in New York. And coming up right after this broadcast, Mark Golub speaks with Thane Rosenbaum on In the News. And we end today's update with some wonderful news concerning JBS. Today, August 7th, television provider Charter Spectrum, formerly known as Time Warner, added JBS to many of its systems nationwide. For the first time, viewers with Spectrum Silver or Gold package will be able to watch JBS in New York, Los Angeles, Orlando, Tampa, Cleveland, St. Louis, Dallas, Fort Worth. All of us here at JBS welcome all our new Charter Spectrum viewers, and we hope you enjoy many wonderful hours of JBS programming. I'm Micah Halpern, and this is today's news update from JBS.